And there is nobody in this league who gets a worse call than Steph Curry every single time I look up. This is the greatest shooter of all time getting the worst whistle of all time. And all last night was further evidence is that this happens way too much. Steph Curry gets the worst whistle ever afforded an NBA superstar in the history of sports, in the history of basketball. There is no one who is clearly as big and bright and important star in any constellation as Steph Curry, who gets officiated as poorly as Steph Curry does. And Steph Curry is not poorly officiated because he's hard to officiate. That's what they used to say about Shaq and Hakeem and big guys, and they're hard to officiate. There's a foul against them every play. No, Steph is not hard to officiate. He's just poorly officiated. And the lack of quality officiating around this league is obviously a discussion point almost after every single game that is played in this league. But Curry really does get the worst whistle. And it's not because he's never attacking. I'm not even talking about the drives that he actually executes to the rim where he gets chopped in half and gets no whistle. I'm talking about all the off-ball movement, all the clawing, all the grabbing, all the pulling on the shorts or the jerseys, all the hooked arms, all the, leg inside the other leg, that was nearly a nut shot preventing you from running around as fast as you want to, Steph, as you're trying to relocate everywhere. Steph Curry's rate of being fouled off the ball is mind-numbingly ridiculous. When he's got the ball, for a guy who's got the ball in his hands as much as he does, the ratio of ball in his hands to being tightly guarded with the ball in his hands to feet at the free throw line, it's one of the worst ratios you will ever see in your lifetime. It is ridiculous. Let's talk about star treatment because it was on full display last night. Kyrie Irving, who was cooking. Man, Kyrie was fantastic last night. When we write the book about all-time Golden State Warrior killers, Kyrie gets his own chapter, and it's near the front. Kyrie Irving was dominant last night. He was spectacular. And he got all sorts of superstar on his home court getting a call. Biggest example of it happened on the same trip up and down the court. Steph Curry literally gets chopped in half driving baseline. He gets cut in half, no whistle to be found. Steph is picking himself up from underneath the field goal, and he's following the action back down the other end of the court, and there's Kyrie in the corner. I think it was Moody on him. Moody takes the bait. He puts his hand in, and Kyrie gets the rip-through foul. Going to the line for two. No! He's going to get 3 free throws because even though he wasn't in the shooting motion, the rip-through came through on the way to what might have been a 3-point shooting motion, and the superstar gets the benefit of the doubt. Kyrie Irving gets a much better whistle than Steph Curry does. I mean, Brandon Pajemski almost gets a better whistle than Steph Curry does. It's nuts. And this isn't me crying. This isn't me whining. This is me who, I'm not saying that there's anything I know about sports that you don't know about sports, except for the fact I did make it my life's vocation. And I have spent an amount of time watching NBA games either in person or on TV that's easier measured in years than it is months. I've been watching an awful lot of basketball, specifically Warriors basketball, over the last 20-something years, and there is nobody in this league who gets a worse call than Steph Curry every single time I look up. Jimmy Butler gets that game-deciding charge call going against him, offensive foul. Who picked up that call? It was Kyrie Irving. Look, that was a charge. Jimmy absolutely squared up his body. It was a charge. Kyrie positioned himself perfectly, but everybody's saying, look at the feet. Look at the feet. The feet aren't set. The feet aren't set. Kids, this isn't a Big 12 game. This isn't a Big 10 game. This isn't an AAC game. Officials are not hounding letter of the law freshmen, sophomores in college to obey by the law. This is the NBA, and a star. Look, did Kyrie shuffle his feet a little bit? Yes, but that's feet set for a star at home getting star treatment while Jimmy Butler did run through him. That's a charge, 100 out of 100 times. But his feet were shuffling a little bit. Again, it's the NBA. It's not the Big Ten. Everybody gets to shuffle their feet a little bit. That's what happens in this league. Again, right or wrong, doesn't matter. I've been watching. I know how this shit works. Curry has only averaged more than 5 free throw attempts per game in 5 seasons of his now 16-year-long NBA career. One of those seasons was a game where he only played 5 games before he had that wrist problem and he had to be shut down for the entire year. Another one of those seasons was 15-16 when he won an MVP. So again, there have been really, what we're talking 4 occasions, because we're going to throw the 5-game season out. There have been 4 occasions where Curry has gone to the free throw line more than 5 times in any game, average over a year, and he wins an MVP 25% of the time when that happens. To further illustrate how good Steph Curry is at scoring and how little consideration he's gotten from the free throw line, look at this graphic right here. This is an old graphic now. This graphic came out more than 3 games ago. So take Steph Curry's point totals over the last 3 games and add them to this graphic, and you'll see that Steph Curry has scored 20,700 and change. God, he's been averaging 30. So I bet he's like 20,800 and change right now. This is the most points ever by a point guard without free throws. What is Steph Curry's career total if he has anything that looks like a normal amount of free throws for somebody who's handling that ball, is the focus of every defensive moment on a basketball court? I mean, until Jimmy Butler arrived, there was basically no one you had to guard other than Steph Curry. He would have 4 sets of eyeballs looking at him. He'd have, 4 sets of hands swiping at him. No calls. No calls. Ever. It's ridiculous. It really, really is. Again, the Stars whistle. The Stars whistle is an element of, oh man, this guy gets all the ticky-tack stuff. Steph Curry doesn't get foul calls when he is chopped in half with Wahoo McDaniels and double axe handle fouls. I mean, it is ridiculous. I'm not talking about Steph needs ticky-tack. I'm talking about Steph needs the same call that, bums in the NBA get. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And I'm dead serious. If I'm the Golden State Warriors, again, I said I'm not complaining about last night, but there were some moments in last night's game where I thought, all right, this is what I'm talking about during the show here. If I'm the Golden State Warriors, I am compiling a weekly montage of blown foul calls against my superstar, and I'm sending them not to the league office. I'm sending them to fucking Adam Silver's direct account. And I'm just saying, look at this. Look at what they're doing to one of the single most valuable players and assets and one of the only people in the world that has a lot of people watching him when he plays basketball. The league doesn't have nearly the eyeballs that it used to. The further the Warriors go, better ratings get. I'm not saying rig the league for the Warriors. I'm just saying give Steph the kind of a whistle that you would give an NBA All-Star. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.